Welcome to the Global Student Success Workshop. My name is Carl Reynolds, and I'm one of the full-time faculty here in the NU Global program. And today I'm going to be talking about writing timed essays with you. There are two types of written communication, actually two types of communication with two different goals. The first one is where we create a context where the reader can figure out what the main point is. The other type is where we create a context, but we tell the reader what the main point is. Now, which type of style do you think is more appropriate in college writing in the United States? Well, it would be the second one, where we create the context, but we tell the reader exactly what the main point is. And when writing a timed essay, this is very important to keep in mind because you need to tell the reader everything. Well, the writing process it takes place in both kinds of writing, prepared writing and also in writing a timed essay. In this slide, we see that there are 10 steps in the writing process that covers a timeline of maybe 1 to 2 weeks. You have to search for a topic. After you found your topic, you need to develop some research questions. After you've considered those research questions, you revise the questions into more interesting and focused and answerable questions. And this takes a little bit of time, perhaps with the help of your fellow students or your instructor. Once you've got that completed, you move on to crafting a thesis statement. And this is where you make a claim and you support your claim with reasons. And this is the specifically most important part of your written essays, to have that clear thesis statement. Next, you search for clear and supportive evidence for your thesis and your claim. And that takes a long time. That's part of the research process, where you go to the library, where you read a lot of different articles. You also are looking for contradictory evidence, evidence that goes against what you're claiming. And that also takes some time. Once you've got that done, you organize your thesis and evidence into a format that the reader will understand. You prepare a first draft based on that and based on the feedback from your peers and your instructor. You're able to revise it and to submit it again. Finally, you prepare a second draft and you revise the grammar, the vocabulary, and things like progression. And on that wonderful day, you hand in your paper and you're all done with that. Well, that's great if you have 1 or 2 weeks, but when you're in the TOEFL test, you only have about 30 minutes to do this whole process. So let's take a look and see how we can kind of cut it down a little bit. First of all, we don't need to find a topic anymore. The topic has been given to you in the question for the composition. So what you're doing is you need to develop research questions. Well, you want to look into the question and find out several different answers to the question. You don't need to revise this because you don't have time. You're only looking for possible answers to the questions and looking for the best one among the alternatives. So you can skip step 3 and go on to step 4, where your answer to the question will be in the form of a thesis statement. And the thesis statement, again, makes a claim about something and gives reasons to support that claim. You can forget about steps 5 and 6 during the 30-minute timed essay, because both of those you don't have time for and you don't have the resources available to you in the exam room. So you move on to number 7, which is organizing your thesis and evidence into a format that the reader will understand. This generally involves writing an outline. From that, you can prepare your first draft, which will probably be your only draft in the 30-minute essay, and revise it for focus and organization. You can take a look at it again and perhaps revise it a little bit more on a second look. And finally, proofread it one more time and submit it before the 30-minute time limit. So let's see what this outline ends up looking like. There are only 5 steps here. You develop your research questions, or more specifically your research answers, I guess, to the research question, considering various answers to that essay question. Once you've decided on the one that you think is the best, you can craft the thesis statement with the claims and the reasons. Choose the best answer from your research questions to make into your thesis statement and frame it into the form of claim plus reasons. And this gives you a natural format to complete your essay. You can organize your thesis and evidence into an outline where each paragraph is one piece of evidence. Evidence piece number 1, evidence piece number 2, and evidence piece number 3. And then from there, it's very easy to turn your outline into the essay. Number 4, you prepare a first draft. You revise it as you write. And finally, number 5, you proofread it. So what's the timing? Everybody's looking at the clock during a timed essay, and it seems like as soon as that clock strikes the top of the hour, everybody starts writing right away. But let's take a look at the timing a little bit more carefully. I suggest that you read the question and brainstorm several answers, and take about 3 minutes to do that. After those 3 minutes, you'll be able to choose amongst the answers that you've identified and get the clearest one, specifically the one with the clearest reasons. That should take another 3 minutes. So now you're down to 24 minutes and you're beginning to sweat a little bit, but don't worry, you're almost there. You can now turn your answer into a thesis statement with an identifiable claim about the question and related reasons to support your claim. This one I would give about 5 minutes on because this is probably the most important sentence of your whole essay. I would give this about 5 minutes. Once you've got that clear statement, moving on to step 4, you can turn that out, you can compose the outline and then turn that into a 5-paragraph essay. So taking 3 minutes to make a nice outline with 1 or 2 words on each section would be a good investment of your time. So when it comes to number 5, translating the outline into a 5-paragraph essay, it's very straightforward to do. And you have time to think about the words and the phrases that you'll use. I would give that about 12 minutes. Finally, you need to give yourself some time at the end. Whenever I've gone to the exams, I see students writing until the very last moment. So give yourself about 4 minutes at the very end to check on your most common grammar errors. And that would be perhaps your verb tenses and your verb-subject agreement. So your outline, which is what you're turning your thesis statement into, would have these 5 different paragraphs. Your introductory paragraph with a thesis statement, which is the answer to the question. X is Y is your claim because A, B, and C are your reasons. And make this very clear. This is the sentence you need to revise and make it the clearest sentence in your whole essay. Your first body paragraph will take one of your reasons, A, B, or C, and turn that into a whole paragraph with a topic sentence at the beginning, and with evidence, examples, and a transition. In fact, all 3 body paragraphs follow the same format. The only paragraph that will be different is your final paragraph, the conclusion, where you restate your thesis and summarize your evidence. So a couple pieces of advice that I can give you is when you're going ahead to do this is to organize your reasons into some sort of a logical or transparent manner to improve the progression of the essay. Try to link the reasons in some way that will be clear to the reader or that will help the reader understand your point. Number 2, do not invent or make up statistics or evidence. The graders of the essay know that you're in a room with no access to the internet or a library. So when we receive essays that tell us about statistics that you've just dreamed up, it doesn't look good for your essay and you may be counted down because of that. Thirdly, evidence should take the form of an example, but try to provide examples that go beyond your personal experience. What people do in general or what people your age do and that sort of thing. By talking about yourself too much, it makes you sound like a more elementary writer and an elementary user of the language. So look for examples beyond your personal experience, if possible. And finally, you don't need to provide an elaborate introduction to your essay. We know what the question is, we gave it to you. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time with background and that sort of information at the beginning. I would get directly to answering the question, which would be that thesis statement. So here we have a practice question. Many Americans have assumed that they have the right to privacy. In this increasingly connected world, our privacy is being challenged in many new ways. For example, authorities were able to identify the alleged Boston Marathon bombers from store surveillance video footage from stores alongside the bomb sites. Proponents of increased security claim that our right to privacy is less important in situations like this. Those people who support privacy over increased security claim that privacy is a right easily lost and difficult to reclaim. So this is giving us the background to the question. Then the question comes in the form of a prompt. In a 1 or 2 page essay, support or reject the proposition that increased security is more important than the right to privacy. Be sure to support your claims with evidence or examples. In addition, mention one unresolved difficulty your position entails. Your essay will be graded according to how well you answer the question, how organized the essay is, how clearly connected the ideas are, and how closely the language follows the conventions of written academic English. So in the second part here, we've given you our grading criteria. You need to answer the question that we ask. You need to organize your essay, preferably in 5 paragraphs. You need to clearly connect the ideas, especially in the body part of your essay. And you need, of course, to follow grammar rules and spelling rules of English. So the grading criteria, we really look at many students, if they don't understand the question, they end up answering a question that they do understand. And that's your strategy. If you really don't understand the question that was asked, proceed as if you do and answer a question. We need to have an essay. Number 2, in your organization, there should be paragraphs that correspond to the main ideas. I've suggested that you link each reason in your thesis statement to one of the body ideas or body paragraphs in your essay. Number 3, how does the essay flow? Are the ideas linked in a clear way? Are there good transition words and phrases? Remember, you need to connect your ideas for the reader. In this culture, we need to explain specifically to the reader what to expect and what's coming up. So by linking your ideas with transition words really helps that. And finally, grammar, what everybody thinks of when they think of getting their essays graded. We're looking at grammar, we're looking at a variety of sentence types, and we're looking for appropriate and sophisticated vocabulary. So these are the criteria that we use in grading, and I hope that these will help you in writing your 30-minute timed essay. A few final words here. Remember that the timed essay is not a race to see how many words you can write in 30 minutes. It's a measurement of your writing skills. So it's quality that counts, not quantity. Think about things before you write them down. Put them in a way that the reader can understand. Number 2, this is an opportunity to show what you know, so it's not a time to experiment with new vocabulary or complicated grammar. At this point, I think you need to stick with what you know. And finally, number 3, definitely save some time to reread your work and revise. Those 4 minutes at the end where you proofread your essay will be invaluable, and I guarantee you'll find at least 2 or 3 errors that you'll be able to correct before you hand it in. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you're all successful in writing your 30-minute timed essays.